Ekuebu. Come on in the house. Nini, welcome. I'm Queen Mother Imakhu, and I want to share a few thoughts with you about Black History Month, which we've just come out of. And, there's all of this discussion about what's going to happen if the government doesn't recognize Black History Month. There's just been a whole lot of stuff that's been going on with that. But here's the bottom line as far as I'm concerned. Now, listen, I was born 1960. My mother went out of her way to buy educational materials for my sister and myself. She bought us back then the Negro Encyclopedia, the Negro Dictionary, all these different things that had to do with learning about people who were important to our culture and in our history, because we certainly were not going to get it in school. Oh, no. And there was not an expectation for that to happen. My mother made sure also that we watched public TV, that we watched documentaries. She took us to Black Broadway shows. She did things like buying regular dictionaries for us and a thesaurus, puzzles to sharpen our mind, crossword puzzles, and that she would play with us also. And also regular puzzles are really great for the mind too. But the thing is that she was always mindful of the fact that she had children who were smart, and that it was important to keep them or to keep us as well educated as possible, especially in those times. Now, she made also sure for us to watch a lot of the Black programs that were on that talked about what was going on in the day, the social events and current events, what was happening in politics and also in society in general, because of the fact that she stressed that we should not feel less than, in spite of the fact that we were in a world that was doing everything to make us feel like we were nothing. My family, my mother, my grandparents, my uncles, aunts, all reinforced that we had worth. I did the same thing with my children. It was the 80s when they were in school, and the principal always knew that she was going to receive a note from me for Dr. King's birthday because it was not acknowledged back then, and that my children were going to be kept home because they were going to be receiving cultural education. And certainly we watched documentaries, we watched PBS, which was a staple in our house. We read, we focused on programming regarding our movements, regarding our heroes and sheroes, and regarding Black excellence. So what does that mean today? There's this great concern that our history is going to be taken from us and all this. No. We didn't have to worry about that before, because this was instilled into us by our parents. And it's no different today. This just means that you have to take responsibility for teaching your kids, your grandkids, your nephews, your cousins, whoever. And if you don't know Black history, it's time for you to get on it. There's certainly enough material that is out here in the libraries. Listen, the library is one of my favorite places, all right? And also online, but listen, don't go for that phony, oh God, there's so much stuff that's on right now that is AI generated that is inaccurate. I mean, highly inaccurate. I mean, to the point where you have someone talking about someone in history, but then you have an AI generated image with a person wearing something that's not congruent to the situation that's being spoken of. And then also with all the AI generated voices, listen, go out of your way to find out which resources are best for you that you can rely on, because ultimately we are the custodians of our culture and should be. You should feel a sense of not only pride and dignity, but also responsibility. How will your children turn out? What is on their mind? What is programming them? Are you letting the social media and TV dictate who they are becoming instead of focusing on what you are filling their minds with? I was extremely careful about the programming that my children watched. They're in their 40s now. But the books, the programming, who their friends were, all of that, okay? And it's important to make sure that you make your children, whether they're your own children, your grandchildren, the children in your neighborhood, feel as though they are worth something, because we have had a tremendous history that we have brought to the world, all over the world. And, this is not just for my Black parents who are out there who are watching this, grandparents, um, uh, neighborhood folks, whoever. This is for everybody. Take responsibility in finding out about our history. Don't just rely on somebody else feeding it to your children, because this is one reason we have so much division right now, because we don't know the full scope of our cultural differences. We don't know and understand where we have commonalities, and we don't know and understand that a lot of the garbage that has been fed to society over the years about Black people, who we really are, and as opposed to what people are lying and saying and putting out there, that completely gives an erroneous view of who we are and what we did to contribute to the world on a highly elevated level, as opposed to people thinking that we are not worth anything. This is our responsibility to rewrite the narrative. We know the story, we know the narrative, but now we have to live it, and we have to take responsibility for teaching it as well. If it's been a while since you've been to the library, I challenge you to go. A lot of great material there, a lot of great programming that is there as well. And sit and watch TV with your children, and be selective about what you choose to watch. If you also don't watch TV like me, listen, my TV gave up the ghost like 6 months ago. And I said, you know what? I'm cool. I'm good. Anything I want to watch, I can watch on my computer, right? But still, I found that with all of the stuff that was on TV, there was a very small selection of things that I even cared to watch, because I like watching things that I can learn. Yeah, there are a lot of fun things I like to watch too, but ultimately, I really don't care for a lot of the garbage that's out here. And I'm very, very particular about if something is positive, if it's bringing me a good message, if it's elevating. There are shows I'll watch where, like, I love clothing design, because I do clothing design. But if it's filled with conversation with people mocking each other, downgrading each other, and all of this, then I turn it off, because I don't need that kind of programming going into my mind. I want to have things as the same way that I was raised, with good, firm, positive, uplifting, educational shows that are going to make me feel better about who I am, and also reaffirm who I am, who my people were, where we came from, and also so I can help be a part of the process of where we are going. This is your challenge. Get on board. Take responsibility for teaching our culture and our history to the future generations. All right. So I hope you have a really wonderful rest of your evening or day, whatever time you happen to see this. And know that you are limitless. There was a quote that Queen Hatshepsut said that was written down on one of the Teken, or the Tekenu obelisks. And she said, basically, my God showed me that my limits and boundaries extend to the heavens. Meaning, I am limitless. I am limitless. You can say that and believe it. Have a really wonderful and blessed evening. Mereya, much love.